Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you would. Uh, Today we've had more announcements coming out about what's going on with the internet in certain states. Primarily at this point in time, Michigan and Wisconsin. Um, when the internet was released, you were supposed to be able to have an exchange of speech, ideas, anything you wanted, buy, sell, check the weather, it didn't matter what. And it was supposed to be absent government interference and regulation. It was supposed to be the Wild West of communications, so that everything and anything could go on worldwide. That's what the premise of the whole thing was. And it's worked fairly well. Now, some socialist and communist and fascist countries, almost since the beginning, have been filtering what could come into and go out of their countries, which goes against everything that the internet was supposed to be about. Like right now, for instance, the Russians aren't letting anything newsworthy or anything like that get out or come in, the bad stuff that's being said about what they've done in their country and killing Ukrainians or anything like that. It's not being allowed. But a lot of other countries in the world have done this. I mean, even the British do not have freedom of speech. They don't have a constitution that guarantees free speech, and they will throw you in jail in a second if you put a meme up, on Facebook or something or Instagram that they don't like. They'll throw you in jail. That's what not having free speech gets you. Some of the other European countries are just as bad, if not worse, than England. Or I should say Great Britain. But it's there. But in the United States, we were mostly allowed to do anything and everything they wanted. But then states recently, like Michigan, like Wisconsin, are trying to pass laws. And in Wisconsin, the state house has already passed a law to ban VPNs. Well, VPNs basically do point-to-point, they call it tunnel encryption. Encryption are what you got going out and coming in from certain websites, so that you cannot see what's included in the packets inside of the tunnel. And the encryption nowadays has got so good that even the government, a lot of times largely cannot decipher it. Or if they can, it's going to take a real long time to do it. But the bottom line is, banning VPNs like Wisconsin and Michigan want to do is, in fact, a form of the First Amendment violation. I'm sure these laws, if they're enacted, will go to the Supreme Court. Because just because freedom of speech is encrypted doesn't mean you don't have it. Okay? Encrypted speech or communications of any kind, I believe, are protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. That's just what I say. I'm not a lawyer, but that's where I come down on it. But worse than that, the internet was built off the premise that there would be no governmental interference. And now we have governmental interference in our internet. Well, once you let one piece of it go like this, the whole thing starts crumbling down. Everything that we've worked for the last 34, almost 35 years is about to go squarely down the toilet if people in these states don't stand up and say, no, we're not doing internet banning. We're not going to get into what protocols or what's said over the internet. The whole premise of this goes around, yeah, you got a 15-year-old boy on the internet watching porn. Well, if you got a 15-year-old boy on the internet watching porn, that is his parents not doing their job. And just because the parents of children don't want to do their job is not a good enough reason, in my opinion, to ban the use of VPNs and other things just because parents don't do their job. We've had a parental problem in this country for quite some time, but it's just internet manifestations of something that has already been going on for a long time, and that is parents advocating their roles as parents and not doing their job. And so now we're going to take the First Amendment rights away from the U.S. Constitution as it relates to the internet because of parental incompetence. This is not right. This is something all Americans need to stand up for and stop it right off the bat before we end up going through the federal system all the way to the Supreme Court to have this fought out. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.